Good evening and welcome to the Scandalous Scandal Recap for Season 4, Episode 6 of Scandal. I am Larry Brown Jr. and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Janiyah Wright. How are you this evening?
LVJ, I am great. I just finished watching the episode a little while ago, and let me just say, I think we took it to another level tonight. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
We took it to a whole new level. We want to thank you all for being here. We want to give you a round of applause for being here because we couldn't do this show without any of you at all. So we thank you for joining us. I do have to come clean and apologize. I texted Janiyah last week. Gosh, what did I text you? Thursday last week, Janiyah?
Yeah, it was right before Scandal was going to come on, actually.
Exactly. And so I was like background information. I was in a local play over the weekend in the DC area, and we were in tech rehearsal for the play. And normally in rehearsal, I will run home after rehearsal, watch Scandal, and then prepare for the Scandalous Scandal recap. Well, last week, Wednesday, I'm at home, and around 9:45, our cable decides to go out. Our cable, internet, and telephone decides to go out. Never happened before. I'm home alone. My wife was in Seattle all last week. So I'm just like, well, it's just going to be me and Jesus in the house today because I don't have any technology. I call Verizon Fios, and they're going to get the person out, according to the agent, from 8 to 12 on Thursday morning. I plan to work from home and handle business that way. Well, I woke up to a text message from Verizon saying that they had me in the hopper for October 31st by 9 p.m. This wasn't going to work. But this ended up being the case, and I didn't have anything to watch television until Friday evening. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just watched Scandal this week because I didn't have time over the weekend to watch it. This is why we were unable to do the Scandal recap. So thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you so much for watching this. Remember, if you're watching us, you can put any questions or comments in the Q&A on the live page. Make sure you put your thumbs up or your thumbs down when you like what happens if you're watching us on any of the Google properties online. And then if you're watching us after our live broadcast, make sure you put your comments in YouTube. Janiyah?
LVJ, I have to interrupt you there because on the topic of thumbs up, I want to give a thumbs up to you because today is your birthday, LVJ! Yay!
Woo, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, LBJ. Happy
Yes.
birthday to me.
I love it. And so, because today is your birthday, we, the community, forgive you for literally playing our faces last Thursday as it relates to this web chat.
Let
So,
me tell you, I felt so bad. I was like, I was dying.
and you should feel bad. You should probably continue to feel bad for a little while, but we want to let you know for your birthday, we do forgive you. So, you're welcome for that,
I thank you
LBJ.
for your generosity. Let's go ahead and jump right into it for this episode of Scandal. First of all, Janiyah, can we start with the opening of the show just to help us set the tone for the momentum of how this show took off? What did you think about the nightmare that Olivia was having?
Whew! LBJ, you know what? I'll say this. One thing is for sure. When you're not quite sure who's coming up from in between your legs, you've got some issues you need to work out.
The
I just thought the whole thing was a little hazy, but I love the fact that we started out with what? Hashtag Scandal Jam Session.
It was good, right? It was good. What was a Scandal Jam session, Janiyah? Fill in the blanks.
And I want to let you know I found out the name of the song and the artist using a new app. That's right, guys. I downloaded an app called Shazam. Yes, it's
I'm
very
so glad you downloaded Shazam. And Shazam, told
cool.
me the name of the song and the artist was what?
It is Summer Breeze by
Yes,
the Isley Brothers. So good.
yes.
So good.
You should know that song, Janai, just by the way of you being African American, you should totally know that Summer Breeze is by the Isley Brothers. And that was the first Scandal Jam Session song for this episode.
So
But
good.
so taking it from the whole nightmare that Olivia had, what a nightmare Huck was living before he actually dealt with actually confronting and finding and locating his family. How awful would it have been for Huck to continue living that nightmare of sitting in front of that home trying to figure out what was going on? I mean, Huck is now in contact, so to speak, with his son. Nightmare over for him, right?
LBJ, here we are thinking that once again Huck is cracking up. Because all throughout the episode, is he paying attention to what he's doing in the office?
Right.
Is he being a super awesome gladiator? The answer is no, he was not. Because he was playing a video game. And we're all thinking, is this 752, 752, 752 all over again? Is he now cracking up? LBJ, he wasn't. It turns out that he has found a way to connect with his son, LBJ, and it is through this video game. I have to tell you, my heart was full in that moment because, Huck, his story is one that, of all of the stories, of all the gladiators, his story is the one that will break your heart in a million pieces. And so I felt Huck's wholeness in that interaction with his son, LBJ, and I was super jazzed. What did you think of that, LBJ?
Whenever I see anything that deals with Huck tonight, I automatically think of you because I know how desperate you were to know what was going on in Huck's life and in Huck's story. So I totally was thinking of like, oh, Jania's gonna love this part when she sees the show, and I thought that it was completely brilliant. Like Huck is not idiot savant. Huck is not special. Huck is not of the ilk of that where he is just all over the place. Huck is very calculated in all that he
Mm-hmm.
does. And he might be repetitive in some sense, of the matter where it comes to his routines and his happening, his jobs, not his jobs, but what he does in daily life. And I think that this showed us that Huck, while we think, like you said, while we think Huck is about to crack, no, 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 no. Huck is tapped in. Huck is tapped in a different way. His sensitivity is not like the normal sensitivity. So I love the fact that Huck was interacting and engaging with his son. What I am looking forward to is some development in this story so that Huck can eventually, break down the barrier, break down the wall, and maybe they'll play Xbox or something where they can use the phone and start talking to each other, use the camera and see each other. And he's like, hey, like, I'm your dad. And his mom walk in and just be completely throttled.
Well, I'll tell you this, LBJ. Huck better be careful about misrepresenting himself online because he may be a part of B6, 13, but the reality is, you could be very easily mistaken for a pedophile in one of these situations. So my thought is, Huck, hashtag, be careful. That's all I have to say to you. And LBJ, there was a little moment where, before again, Redemption Song, Huck was playing the game with his son. He's sitting there playing the game. You got a little frustrated. You're like, Huck, Quinn is trying to get to the bottom of this thing here, and you're not paying attention. LBJ, I know you were loving Quinn in this episode. I mean, she was a little beast mode. What did you think of Quinn today?
Quinn was totally rising. She's like, keep rising to the top. Like, Quinn is going to the top. She's taking it to the top, and she is not going to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records Quinn is right now. Like, Quinn is the unsinkable Molly Brown. Quinn is everything that is like, I am woman, hear me roar. She is, the Rosie the Riveter. She's everything. Quinn is everything to us. And Scandal right now, we're not able to embrace it because we've got all these other little factions of storytelling going on in there. But I love the fact that Quinn is also serving as a steady, so to speak, for Huck in the situation. Once she finds out what's going on with Huck, I think Quinn is going to take another look at herself and do an assessment to say, okay, how can I help this man push further? How can I push him, and how can I also advance my own agenda? And I think that's what Quinn is going to be involved in a lot this season, is advancing her own agenda. Going back to, we were talking about Huck, as you all know, when you watch this, we're just a few seconds behind you with the delay. So as you post your questions and comments in the Q&A, we will be reading them, but they do come a little after we've already talked about it, discussed the subject. But Kathy Grantham spoke directly to you tonight, and she was like, Huck was being super dad gladiator. I totally dug everything Huck was doing in that moment. I totally agree with Kathy. What about you?
Oh, I totally agree. I mean, the reality is a father, a parent, oh, you find a way. Someone tried to say to Huck, you're not going to be connected with your son. You're not going to be connected with your family. Huck said, oh, I'm not? Oh, well, let me just really give you the 1, 2, 3, 4. And he found his way in. I totally agree with Kathy. Such a super dad moment. He found his way in there. He really did.
He did. He did. He did. And what about Quinn, though? Going back to Quinn, what about Quinn
Mhm.
and that locker? Her resilience, her persistence with that locker. I was so proud when she finally found the key, and when she got the key in the locker and she turned it and opened, and then we saw the contents therein. Quinn is about that life this season.
She really is. And LBJ, let's just recap really quickly with this cases that Quinn is working on because LBJ, this is now, and it's not something that Scandal does all the time. This case has been carried on for like 3 or 4 episodes. And so it's
Yes.
really becoming kind of a through line. And Quinn is the one that's keeping the story moving. If you remember what happened, Olivia's good friend from law school called her up and said, "Hey, I can't find my daughter." Olivia finds the daughter. Guess what? Daughter is dead. We don't know really right now the full motivation for why the daughter was killed. For a while, the mother was really suspicious for us, and I think she's actually in jail right now because we found out that the mother was sleeping with the daughter's boyfriend. Then we
Hmm.
find out that the father of the now slain girl he's actually the supervisor for the goon that very likely pulled the trigger, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we know at a minimum that this goon took out the friend of the dead daughter, and that friend went to her grave protecting what? A key to a locker, LBJ. She took the
Yeah.
key in her last seconds of life and she swallowed it, LBJ. And Quinn, with her skill set that she's acquired recently, goes into the morgue, cuts open this body, gets this key literally out of this dead child's gut, and then Quinn has been on this quest to find out this key. What locker does it open? And Quinn, during the course of tonight's episode, literally tried this key in thousands of lockers, LBJ, until she found the one that it opened. And LBJ, what was inside?
Yeah, all those photos of Olivia in her condo, Olivia in the office, Olivia at the, it seemed like a White House photo of Olivia, photos of Olivia on top of photos of Olivia on top of photos of Olivia. I have no clue what those photos are going to be used for at all. However, Dr. Hill 2014 poses a question. Did
Mm-hmm.
Jake put those pics of Olivia in the
Ooh,
locker? I
ooh.
don't know, Dr. Hill 2014. Elaborate. What makes you think about Jake putting those photos of Olivia in the locker? Was Jake connected to what was going on within that whole scenario? Is this entire thing connected? Are we going to see?
Ooh.
Are we going to see everything unfold, and will we see the demise of several characters on Scandal this season? What will happen? The plot thickens.
Oh my gosh, Dr. Hill 2014. You have just blown my mind because you're so right. Some of those pictures, the way that they looked, they were reminiscent of some of the shots that Jake took. We've seen stills of some of the monitoring that Jake has done in past episodes. And you know what, Dr. Hill? You might be on to something. Ooh, that you just blew my mind with that one.
Yeah, totally. And I think, first of all, tonight, let's shout out to Dr. Hill because Dr. Hill is the former PhD bound, our friend. So Dr. Hill is now Dr. Hill 2014. Congratulations, Janai, with Raven the Roof. Right? Go ahead. You keep doing
Congratulations!
that.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, so exciting!
Yeah, but I don't know if Jake is directly involved with those photos there. I mean, like, are these B613 photos? Like, I'm wondering, Dr. Hill 2014, if these photos were indeed placed by Jake, and they were, how were they placed by Jake? Like, were these photos placed by Jake under the guise of B613, or were these photos
Mhm,
placed by Jake
mhm.
under the guise of this is my lover and I am stalking her? Like, what was the purpose for Jake to place those photos? Dr. Hill writes back and says that Jake was hired by Rowan to keep Liv away from Fitz. Yes, Jake was hired by Rowan to keep Olivia away from Fitz. That's been established. Rowan went through that whole bit this past episode about he had a job to do when he was in the cell. But I think that I don't know. The photos I think Lynn, take my thoughts to I subscribe. My thoughts will subscribe rather to the idea that there is someone who is out to take Olivia down. And these aren't like lustful stalker photos of Olivia, but these are, this is who she is, this is who we want to take
Surveillance.
down, and we
It's
are watching her. Exactly.
Yeah, it's surveillance. It's surveillance. But you know what? It's so true that I mean, this was not, this is now my BlackBerry camera phone surveillance, right? Like this is the way that those pictures look. This was, professional grade, super duper spy level monitoring.
Hmm.
So, we'll see, LBJ. I mean, as this case unfolds, it's just getting meatier and meatier. And I'm excited to have this case that's like a through line for all these episodes. And today we had not only that through line case, but the other case, LBJ, which was the murder of President Cooper, right? So this president.
That was totally crazy. That whole scenario was something sick, and I loved it because it took us back to the days of Scandal, like the old days of Scandal, where we were introduced to an issue, a scenario,
Yes,
an opportunity
yes.
for a fix, and or an opportunity to make a right or wrong, and it took a turn, and it further proved something that I've talked about before in this season. But I'll let you pick up, and I'll come back to that.
LBJ, what was going on with this case? And you're so right, LBJ. And I think that that is one of the reasons why I think this episode was one of the best, if not the best, that we have seen this season. Because
Hmm.
you're so right. It took us right back to that scandal that we love, where we had this meaty case with twists and turns. Here we
Hmm.
have former President Cooper had an assassination attempt on his life 30 years ago. And the man that's in prison for that assassination attempt reaches out to Olivia. Oh, Olivia, I'm wrongfully in prison. Help me find my freedom by, going now that President Cooper is dead, cutting his head open and getting that bullet out of his skull.
Hmm.
Olivia, if I can only get that bullet, my name will be clear. And he, LBJ, had the nerve just to make sure that Olivia took the case. He had the nerve to quote Olivia back to Olivia. Did you catch that, LBJ?
I did, and it was Olivia couldn't even take it. Like her nose turned red, her cheeks put, and she felt feelings during that. She was very
Yes,
upset
he
because
did.
Olivia is realizing that she is losing her steam, and she's got to
Mm-hmm.
get it back. She's got to reclaim the boss, the giant, the roaring woman that's inside of her, the gladiator, the lead, the head honcho of everything. And she's got to take the reins and reel this thing back in. She's losing control. Olivia was in a place formerly where she could have a great, clean gut check, make a decision, and move on from there. And I keep
Mm-hmm.
saying episode after episode, Olivia is getting rusty, and it's because of her personal drama that she's got going on with this triangle that she's involved in. And her father knows his daughter. So her
Mm-hmm.
father knows how to take her off her A game. And he's taking her off her A game by putting her in the midst of all this drama, but not acting like she's really in the midst of it all. And this case further proves my point that Olivia needs help. Olivia needs to fall back and focus on one thing or the other. She's not a great multitasker when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
business and personal.
It's so true, LBJ, because she got totally taken here. She spent the whole episode manipulating everyone, manipulating the media, manipulating David Rosen, right? To go and try to fight for this underdog. And LBJ, her gut was way off, right?
Hmm.
She literally helped this crazy man to accomplish his goal of making sure that the record was clear, that he actually really did, kill essentially former President Cooper. So
Yes.
anyway, LBJ, you've said it on several episodes, several web chats. She's definitely slipping, LBJ. And tonight, my gosh, I think David Rosen though, he might have summed it up. He said, "You know what, Olivia, you poked yourself." He said something
Yes.
along those lines. Olivia was trying to poke him, and she got poked. You
But did you hear?
know,
But how did he say it to her though? How did he give it to her? How did he give it to her?
okay, he said, I wrote it down. He said, "Oh, I outpoked Olivia Pope. Take that, sucker." That's what he said. That's a quote, LBJ. That's from
Right.
the
He was like,
transcript.
"Take that, sucker!" And she's like, "Don't glow." And see, the thing about David Rosen is in a weird place right now because David Rosen is he's so like David Rosen loves Olivia and the work that she does, but he also doesn't want to love Olivia and the work that she does because he does not know how to run that game. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
David Rosen, you can watch the game, but don't try to play the game unless you have a referee named Olivia Pope who's coaching you through it the entire time. And David Rosen needed a moment to kind of redeem himself for his own peace of mind to say,
Mm-hmm.
yes, okay, Olivia is not perfect. She's not the perfect queen that built her up to be in my head. She is imperfect, and I appreciate her imperfections. I am going to ride on this imperfection for this moment in time in my life, if not anybody else's life. And that's just what David Rosen did. I love that moment between David and Olivia. But while we're speaking about women and especially Olivia Pope, let's turn to another facet of women in the show, and let's look at the beloved sisterhood of first ladies on Scandal. What do you say to Melly and what was her name, Bitsy?
Fitzy,
Oh my
LBJ.
goodness!
My gosh, loved it. Do you hear me? This is capital LOVED, exclamation mark, size 42 font, bold, and it's also italicized and it's
Right.
blinking. Because LBJ, I loved Bitsy and Melly's interaction. First of all, we were all so excited. I think, number one, that Smelly Melly didn't make an appearance, that Melly decided to take a shower and get dressed. I think we were all really happy about that. And so here she is, ready to get into character, and she's all ready to mock Bitsy. Bitsy walks in and says, "Oh no, no, no! There'll be no mocking today, Melly." And she literally laid down the law. She said, "Listen, I know this is a dog and pony show. You're not going to run me. If anything, we're going to run this together." It was just so good, LBJ.
It was so good. I mean, from the moment that the aide walks in and she's like, First Lady Cooper is on the way, and she's like, "Oh, praise be," and she did that whole bit. And then we met her. They did all the pomp and circumstance with the photo ops, and all they needed to take care of to show that they were working on the state funeral for the former president. And then Melly clears the room to try to have a heart to heart, and she's like, "Homegirl, let me tell you one thing. I need you to get out of your office. I need you to
Yeah,
see that little tapestry up on the wall that I praised. Take it.
yeah,
I'm gonna give you crabs. You're gonna get the crabs from that,
yeah.
and then I'm going to show you." She was like, "We have all these hymns. I'm doing the ceremonies like your husband." And she was like, "My husband screwed everything else. Then like we don't care about all that. We do not care about all of that. We need to let's. I'm gonna show you the get down with the get down, little sweetie." And it was like she just kind of sweetied her, like, I don't want to do anything you're telling me. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and you're going to do that. Dr. Hill 2014 is back, and she's like Bitsy and Melly in 2016. I don't know if I'm ready for that. I love the girl power that they had, and I love
Yeah.
the generational lines that they crossed, but I don't know if I'd be ready for the two of them all crazy and batty all in the White House and everything.
Yeah, yeah. I think me and Kimmy J are on the same page. Kimmy J in the Q&A says, "I love Bitsy." You know what, Kimmy J, we are on the same page. I literally love Bitsy. She came in and she said, "Melly, you think this is your house? Oh, no, no, no. I lived here first, and this will always be my house." She literally laid that law directly down. And, one of the things, LBJ, that we have to point out here is that it looks like one of my predictions might be coming true. As you may recall, I said that it's possible that Melly might make some kind of comeback and try to do some kind of independent
You're right.
political or legal career.
You
And
did
I
say
think
that.
I think Bitsy, part of me, is the catalyst. I mean, we saw Melly there in that moment. Now, of course, she was being manipulated by Liz. We all know that. But Melly's still there in that moment and said, "Well, you know what? I will have my own legacy in
Yep.
this country." And she stood there, LBJ, and she leveraged those cameras and that paparazzi, and she took her moment, LBJ. I took a little hat off to Melly.
But again, she spoke like she almost spoke amiss. Like, don't speak about issues that you're not 100% aware of. If you have not been briefed, First Lady, say nothing. Say if Gabby Abby Red did not tell you what to say when you walked out of that service and all the paps were out there, and you were going to make a statement like that. Don't do that because there is somebody who has been leaking information to the opposition, and the opposition approached you to kind of let you know that they've got some intel that you may want to give into, but you didn't want to give into that intel because you're going to be loyal to the home team. but Gabby, but Melly, I don't know if you were incoherent Melly or if you were, I'm gonna be. If you're gonna be like, I'm gonna jump shit Melly. I'm gonna be independent boss lady. I'm a survivor Melly. Whatever Melly you were gonna be that time, you should have kept your mouth shut, okay? Because there's something coming down the pipe that you know nothing about, and that something is coming in the form of a prostitute leaking information or an escort leaking information to the opposition. Melly, keep your mouth shut. Come on, what? Cyrus has ticked me off so much on this season, Janaya, but I love it because the melodrama of Cyrus's storyline is getting to me, and I'm just like, he's gonna fall. Olympus is gonna fall, and it's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be dangerous when Cyrus falls. It's gonna be so dangerous.
It is LBJ, and there's a point we have to make here. So this prostitute who has been totally playing him directly to the left field is, apparently someone who was planning to go to business school. Right after
Yes.
Liz is there wrapping up his little job, she says to him, "Good luck with B school. All right, now peace out." LBJ, she was never planning to make those photos public. Otherwise,
No.
that young man would not have taken on this case. Her plan always was to manipulate Cyrus and to manipulate the situation. And so
Hmm.
it was exciting to see the plan that she was planning to play out. And we also got to simultaneously see LBJ, Abby, kind of give the little nod to Cyrus that, hey, there might be a snake in the grass.
That was good. Wasn't that
So
good?
good.
Because see, Cyrus pulled his Cyrusness and was like, "I'm gonna have your job. You talk to the president about non-white, non-domestic matters. You talk to the president about this. You were disrespectful to the president. You were insubordinate. I can have you out of here with a one little form, one little line on an HR form, and your job would be toast." So she's pulling all gladiator stops out of the wazoo to figure out who is this potential snake in the grass, who is this leak that has
Mm-hmm.
leaked this actual confidential, this real information. This is real stuff they're dealing with, and this is what raised the eyebrows. And so, in all her gladiatorness, Gabby Abby Red steps up and is like, you know what? Let me turn these tables on you, Sai. Hey, Sai. Guess what, Sai? I found out that you opened up another cell phone account and you also rented a one bedroom in Georgetown. What's that about? What's that going on? Who is he? Or whatever she said to him, and he was just like, oh, like maybe she's right. That job is secure, Gabby Abby Red. Congratulations.
Yeah. And you know what? Abby tonight, she really was showing her guts. LBJ. We cannot forget Abby marching her tail directly into the Oval Office
Oh yes,
and confronting Fitz, LBJ. What did
yeah.
she say to him? She said something along the lines of, you know what? What's going on with Jake Ballard? And then Fitz says, this is above your pay grade. You don't get to walk in here and question me, the leader of the free world, about what's going on with Jake Ballard. And
Yep.
she says, oh, I'm not here to talk to you, leader of the free world. I'm here to talk to your alter ego, also known as the man who was the married man who was
Married man.
sleeping with my friend who has now imprisoned the man she's currently sleeping with. LBJ, could you hashtag checked at the door? She really told you 1, 2, 3.
But lest we forget, Janiyah, lest we forget the other whammo that Gabby Abby Red laid down. She said, "Mr. President, my name is not Gabby. It is Abby." I said, "Oh, Gabby Abby Red is standing up. Gabby Abby Red is standing up."
Yeah.
She stood for what she believed in. But what did you say to the sisterhood of the traveling white hats? Like, what about that sisterhood, real quick, between Gabby Abby Red and Olivia, where she was the one who stayed with her. She like they're rekindling their bond. They are rebuilding. They're trying to atone with one another. And she's really looking out for her sister friend, Olivia. What do you say to the magic that was happening there?
Well, LBJ, you can call it magic if you want. I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to get ever to the bottom of this relationship between Abby and Olivia. The tension between the two of them goes all the way back to season 1. Abby didn't want to trust Olivia. Then Abby trusts Olivia, and her allegiance makes her not trust other people. I mean, they're constantly going back and forth. And so, in some ways, that makes the sisterhood more real. But in other ways, it's like Abby, you came to Olivia to confront her and ended up like staying with her overnight and then coddling her after a nightmare. I don't know. To me, it just feels like they're just a little up and down, LBJ. That relationship to me is there's still something to unfold there. I think we're still going. It's not just we went to law school together. There's a little bit something else happening there, LBJ.
What are you suggesting, Janaya?
I'm suggesting that Shonda Rhimes always keeps a little something in her pocket, LBJ, and there are more layers to the Abby Olivia onion that we have not had an opportunity to peel back. That's all I'm saying, LBJ. There's more to this story.
Well, mark Janaya's words, everybody. She said it tonight on the show. Don't forget she said it. Let's go back and watch it, recap it, and play it back to see what will come to pass to that. But while we're talking about relationships, I cannot let this episode go by without speaking about the relationships that Rowan Pope has created among everybody on this show. And I'm with everyone that he's connected to on this show. I'm talking about from his daughter to the president to Jake to everyone else. First of all, let's just deal with Rowan Pope.
Oh man, it's so good.
First of all,
yeah.
Can I just say how happy I am that first of all I've established that Rowan Pope is one of my television role models, right?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, you have.
You know what I'm about to say? How happy do you think I was when I watched this episode of Scandal to learn the information that we learned in this episode? Please tell me you know what I'm about to say.
LBJ, I do not know what you are about to say. LBJ, what is it?
My face is frozen.
I thought you were going to play the cricket noise. I couldn't figure out how to do it fast enough. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah.
I'm happy to announce, everyone. First of all, I am a proud native Detroiter. And just like me, one other native Detroiter on the show Scandal is Rowan Pope.
Well, first of all, LBJ, if you believe that, then you've already fallen for his trickery. What Eli was doing in that moment, he was playing he was dancing a little jig for the president. He was just trying to have a little equalizer moment. No one knows where Eli is from. He could be from Hades. We'll never know, LBJ. The reality is, LBJ, everything that comes out of the man's mouth is a lie. It's a manipulation, and he cannot be trusted. So don't get too excited about, going out on Ancestry.com and realizing that you guys have some shared Michigan roots. Okay, don't get too jazzed because the man is full of crap. And LBJ, here's what he said. So he's sitting there talking to Fitz. Oh, Fitz, don't let my daughter manipulate you. Don't give her, that power over you. Just give her what she wants. Let her talk to Jake, and then she'll just go away.
Ooh, it was so good. It was so good, Janaya.
Playing Fitz, marginalizing his daughter, and simultaneously setting up Jake.
Janaya, that was classic. That was great strategy. It was evil. It was wicked. Granted, yes. However, that was brilliant. The way that he played that entire thing. Mind you, he is the cause. He's the center behind all of this. Jake is the only one who knows it, but he's damaged Jake's credibility so much so to the point that nobody will believe him except for Olivia, and she's all kinds of messed up right now. Like, Rowan Pope is the boss man. Like, he is the man among all men. Rowan Pope is that deal. Rowan Pope is the one who can come in and say, you know what, you're going to go in and you're going to go into this interrogation and you're not going to mention my name at all. And if you mention my name, I will make you die a death that is like no other. Rowan Pope is also the one that says, you know what, now that you've gone in and implicated yourself in this entire thing and you freed me from it, you cleared me from it, when you knew that I was the one who did it, I am now going to make it so that this person goes off, could potentially be killed. You could potentially be killed. I'm going to go to the person that you are now a rival with and say, Go take care of him. Go. I want you to take care of him for the sake of my daughter. Do it for the sake of my daughter. Don't you want my daughter? Don't you? And mind you, this is the same person he had the conversation with last season, where the man was like, "I was. What do you know? I know what it feels like to be inside your daughter." And this and the other. That's the same man who told him, "You are a boy. You are not being a boy." Now he's saying, "Yeah, don't you my daughter? Don't you my daughter?" Like, what kind of person is that? He's brilliant. Brilliant.
I mean, LBJ, he is brilliant, but brilliant in a way that is synonymous with super crazy
Yeah.
and, and power craze. But I will tell you, one thing he does do is even if what he has said has been spoken through craziness, he brings it to fruition, LBJ.
Oh, yes,
And he told Jake, he said, "Oh, Jake, you may recall the last time we chit-chatted, I told you I was going to watch you die." And he said, "Well, guess what?" And I wrote this quote down, LBJ. He said to Jake, he said, "You don't take command, command takes you." So
yeah, that was good.
levels that, oh, it was good. It was good.
How about I thought I finished that line when he said it? I thought he was going to say, "You know what, about command, you don't take command." I thought he was going to say, like, command is in control. Remember, he had the whole power is in control and command is in control. He didn't say that. I thought I was going to finish the line like I normally do in some of these shows. It was a for me.
Well, LBJ, you know what? We have talked about Jake and Eli, right?
Yep.
We have talked about Fitz and Eli. LBJ, it is time to talk about Eli and Olivia, and Olivia and Fitz, and Olivia and Jake. I mean, LBJ, let's just be honest here. Eli and his interactions with his daughter, they continue to astound. And I'm sitting here, LBJ, still hurting for Olivia as she stares into the face of these two men that she loves, and she's completely torn. She wants to fight for Jake. She wants to be with Fitz. LBJ, what did you think of this love triangle continuing to play itself out?
Olivia is Olivia needs to leave it alone. I just don't understand why she continues to subject herself to this. And she had an out. Like, there will always. This is what I'm kind of talking about. One of my takeaways, but I'll just tease it by saying this. Olivia had the opportunity to say no, and when she did not take the opportunity to say no, she dug a deeper hole that she's going to regret later in the season. And it's going to make me angry again because she's dabbling with this married man and she should not be doing it. Come on.
Yeah.
But Olivia?
And you know what, LBJ, you're so right. I mean, I think she said it best herself. Truth always comes to light. What was the quote, LBJ? She said, "The truth always comes to light. You can try to hide it, but it always circles back around."
It does.
Olivia, you've had multiple opportunities to run away from that and to find some redemption, and you just keep coming back, girlfriend. You keep coming back.
Yep. She keeps coming back, and it's ridiculous. And you know what? It's going to come back and bite her hard. I'm talking about it's going to bite a plug out of her skin. She's going to have to get a skin graft to cover over it because it's going to be just that bad of an injury. And it's just going to be that bad.
So OBJ, let's just recap where we left things with Fitz and Olivia and Jake really quickly. So Jake had been in Fitz's prison, meaning he was in the Department of Justice. He was going to get a trial. Fitz handed him over to command. Then Olivia goes in, gives Fitz the ultimatum, and then what happens? Jake ends up back in the Department of Justice. So where is Jake right now, LBJ? He is somewhere where, according to Fitz, he will not be killed, but he will have an opportunity to get a fair trial, and he will have food, and he will live. And where do we leave things with Fitz? We leave Fitz, #hanging on. LBJ, what did you think of that conversation between Fitz and Olivia?
You mean where he kept bullying her, asking her, "Is there hope?
Yes.
Is there hope?
Yes.
Is there hope?" And she's like, and she just swings her hair and walks away. Really, Olivia, really, Fitz? I'm really sick and tired of this relationship. I'm not for it. I say this each and every time we talk about it. and Olivia is making it bad for herself. She's making it worse for herself. And you know what? She's really becoming her dad's pawn because this is her dad's saving grace, his daughter. Olivia is the one that is keeping the truth from being revealed about her father, and she has absolutely no clue that this is going on right now. God bless you. I heard you sneeze twice.
Thank you.
Yes, but I think that Olivia, if you all agree with me, like Olivia is her father's pawn and does not realize it. And the only reason Olivia is the pawn right now is because Mama Pope is nowhere to be found. Mama Pope allegedly has been executed, but Kathy Grantham has some inside information, Janaya, and she said the plot thickens indeed. Candy Alexander is set to reprise her role as Olivia's terrorist mom on the mid-season finale of Scandal, Entertainment Weekly has learned. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. It could be, Kathy and Janaya, that Candy will return, Mama Pope will return, but will she return in the present or will she return in the past? I believe that we could potentially see both. I think that we're going to see what happened when Rowan put her away, because we know Rowan dealt with the mama somehow, some way, because Fitz gave the directive to deal with the mama. We've already established that. But knowing Rowan has ulterior motives. Rowan is really in control. Rowan is running the country right now. That's one of the things that I put. Rowan is running this thing like no
absolutely, other. Absolutely. He was running things, LBJ.
Right. Rowan didn't need to steal an election. Rowan didn't need to even campaign. And Rowan said, "I'm going to set this whole B613 shop up. You want to take it from me? I'm going to take it back. And then now that you shut it down, I'm going to show you that I'm going to create a whole another B613, and I'm going to create B617 right now." And that's just what he's doing. Like, he has created something brand new. Candy Alexander is going to come back and surprise us all. I think that she's going to have some real drama with all of this stuff.
And you know what, LBJ? I need for Candy Alexander to come back. Her character for me was like redemption for this show. I mean, I think she is such an important piece of why this show continues to excite us. I cannot wait for her to come back before the winter finale. And LBJ, one of the reasons we suspect that Eli has not killed Mama Pope is that he loves her, LBJ. I mean, part of it is like, it's like hashtag Achilles heel. You know, he can't quite kill her. He keeps putting her in the hole. And LBJ, that's actually
kryptonite. That's his kryptonite.
It's his kryptonite. And LBJ, this is a great segue to his other kryptonite, which is his daughter, right?
Yes.
As much as he manipulates her, and as much as he plays these games and treats her trivially, he always tries to circle back and have a meeting of the minds. And LBJ, do you remember the meeting of the minds at the end of this episode there by the edge of the pool, LBJ?
No, by the edge of the pool.
At the edge of the pool, the very end of the episode, LBJ, he goes to her and he says, "You intervened to save Jake. You had him taken out of my control." And she said, "Oh, I didn't just intervene to save Jake. I intervened to save both of them."
Yes,
right?
I remember that. Yeah.
Not forget who's manipulating who. And I loved LBJ, and I wrote it down, and let me tell you, it's written in gibberish because I was so excited. I wrote down her quote there. She said, "You may be command, Dad, but I have weapons at my disposal. Weapons you can't possibly possess."
And you know exactly what I thought about, right, when she said that line, right?
I know what you're going to say, LBJ. What is it?
Nectar wrapped in a box.
LBJ, Here's the unwrapped nectar. We have some here. And LBJ, I want you to see the slogan on the nectar.
Wait, nectar. Wait, what is it? Wait, hold it. Nectar, yum yum.
LBJ, the slogan on the nectar is yum yum because it is so good. And Olivia said, "Dad, I have some weapons that you can't possibly possess." And do you know what she did, LBJ? She swam away. She did. Said nothing else to talk. Drop the mic. I'm out of here.
It
She
did.
literally ended the conversation.
She
Such a great end to the episode, LBJ.
It was. It was. Do you have any takeaways before we get into round robins from this episode since it was so great?
So good. And you know what, LBJ, I do have one takeaway, and it is about Olivia. And, that moment where David Rosen is in the courtroom and he looks over his shoulder and sees Olivia in the courtroom. And he realizes instantly, just by seeing her, that he has been manipulated.
Mm.
LBJ, that moment to me was so profound. Just her presence, right? And so it made me kind of think, what do people think when they see me walk into a room? What do people think when they see you walk into a room? So it's something for us all to think about, LBJ. I mean, what sort of legacy are you leaving in your day-to-day life? What sort of reputation do you have? Are people happy to see you when you walk into a room? Or are they more happy when you leave? So just to me, it was a very profound moment. Just her presence, LBJ. He knew that he had been manipulated. She brings with her, LBJ, an air of manipulation. And so again, it's just a check to all of us. What sort of energy are you carrying with you?
That's good. That's good, Janaya. And right, that's very. Oh, I said your middle name. I'm sorry. That's good, Janaya. That's very, very
That's
good.
fine. No, I don't mind at all. Larry Denard Brown.
But listen, so here's my takeaway. My takeaway
Yeah.
is whenever you are in a jumble, whenever you are in some mess that you need to get out of, at some point before it all comes to an head, before it's all said and done, before you are walking away with egg on your face, there is normally a way of escape. There's normally an exit provided for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's presented. Take it. Do not be scared to leave your comfort zone. Do not be scared to leave what's familiar. Do not be scared to leave what you think is right because it may be time for change. Seasons
Mm-hmm.
change, just as people change. Shoe sizes change, dress sizes change, and so on. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Pope missed her exit in this episode. Olivia Pope missed her exit when
Mm.
asked her, "Is there still hope? Is there still hope?" To me, she had internal conflict that made her not respond in real time. That made her have a delayed response. If she was on board with that from the jump, Olivia, we know what's good for Olivia and Fitz. We already know what that is. We know that they will go in and they will do whatever they need to do and keep it moving. But she already said, she told him, she made it seem like she was thinking about walking away first, and she should not have made it known. She was thinking about it. She should have said nothing and let it be that, and then came up with her exit plan and lived in that truth. However, she revealed herself. She played to her vulnerability in this instance, which did not work to her benefit by saying, if you do this, you can kiss the possibility of us goodbye. Really, Olivia, don't do that. People, when you are making an exit strategy, do not reveal the plan until everything has been worked out. Whether that is with people who are leaving relationships. People sometimes do this when they are transitioning jobs. People do this when they are in an argument with someone, or even it might even be so much so as an issue with not a colleague, but an issue with well, let's say a colleague, whatever the issue might be. Come up with a strategy first before you go in. Come up with your exit plan if you need to walk away from something. When you walk away from it, walk away knowing that this is what's going to happen next, and I'm going to stick with this, and this is going to be beneficial for me and me alone, and not just me. When I say you alone, ultimately your future. Olivia Pope just damaged her future by staying involved with this Fitzgerald president man on Scandal. So, folks, when you see the exit, take the exit, but make sure you have a strategy plan when you
Mm-hmm.
take the exit. That's my takeaway.
LBJ, I thank you for that. I mean, what you've just given as a takeaway is something that all of the characters on Scandal should make a note about. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, seriously. And LBJ, speaking of exit plans, it's time for my favorite part of this show, the round robin. I can't get enough of the sound effects, just for the record. I love it.
Uh,
LBJ, Kimmy J kicking us off. She said, no, Cyrus will kill him before he leaks anything else. Bang, bang. And you know who she's talking about?
the
Prostitute
prostitute.
Brian.
Yeah, prostitute Brian. B School Brian.
Yeah, you're out of here, sir. Hit
Yes.
the bricks.
Kathy Grantham is back in the Q&A. Kathy Grantham says, but what about Melly asking Fitz if she should arrange to have fried chicken brought up to him? Kathy, I yelled when I saw that part because it was so good. Because it was snarky, but it was also letting him know that, hey, if you need some healing, there is healing in that fried chicken. And that fried chicken downstairs in that their kitchen that they're making is some really good fried chicken. So you can get healed and get full off of that fried chicken. I love that moment.
Yeah, and Kathy also pointed out one of my favorite quotes of the night. I'm so happy she reminded us. She said, that joint isn't going to smoke itself. Best line from the episode. I agree, Kathy, and that is why I love Bitsy. Bitsy is just so good to me. She's so good.
Bitsy reminded me of the old gosh, what is her name? She was the vice president. She reminded me of her with her southern accent in there, and she would just come in and laid out a little one liners to Nelly and let her know what was going to happen. I loved it.
Yeah, yeah.
Kathy's back in the Q&A though. Kathy is back with something I think is a little fun. It's kind of on the lines of one of the cable shows. I'm going to start my own little drinking game, Tuesday night drinking game. Take a sip every time the name Huck is in. Kathy, this one is for you. Huck, 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 Huck. There you go.
And in summary, Huck. Correct. Now, and Dr. Hill 2014. And once again, bravo, Dr. Hill. We are so excited for you. This is just such an amazing achievement. She said, Dr. Rosen is a trip. Glad he called Liv out. Loves it. Loves it.
Yes. Dr. Hill 2014, Janiyah also said in the Q&A, Janiyah, I have missed your yeah. I missed it. She missed your yeah.
Oh, that's so nice. That's when it gets so good to me. That's when it gets so good to me that I have to just give a little yeah.
I like nectar wrapped in a box too.
Yeah,
nectar wrapped in a box.
Your nectar is fancy. Your nectar is gift wrap. That's really fancy. And Dr. Hill 2014 reminds us that Liv has the power of the nectar. She told her daddy that she has weapons too. Nectar! Yes, 3 exclamation marks.
It's all about the nectar factor. I'm telling you, that nectar factor is real.
Oh, it's real.
Our new doctor friend says Liv's energy comes from her mama and her daddy. You're right. She is a product of both of those parents. We say it week after week. And both of their strengths and their weaknesses show in Olivia like never before, especially right now in this season.
Yes, and you know what? I will tell you, Dr. Hill 2014 is on it tonight. She said that she was with you, LBJ, that Liv could have a stalker. And it's so true. I mean, these pictures in these lockers, we just don't know, LBJ. We have had no clue to help us to try to make a guess about what this could be. It's just it's so exciting. Such a cliffhanger.
Yes, Kimmy J is shouting out Gabby Red. She says Gabby finally made me proud. I think she probably made you proud before because she stood Kimmy J. She stood in all of her womanhood and she stood with boldness and she stood with might and power and just stood up to the president. But she also had the courage to go beyond what he knew and what they knew was familiar and professional and cross that line. And sometimes you got to cross that line. Like that was great, Kimmy J. I agree.
Yeah, you do. And you know, Sabrina Harvey made a good observation. Melly thinks she's going to be Bitsy 2.0, but she better fall back. Fitz may be love struck, but he's still a Rhodes Scholar. He is no dummy, and he is not going to allow her to undermine his presidency and run the country. She got another thing coming. And you're so right, Sabrina. Melly even said it to Bitsy. She was like, I tried it before, and it didn't work. Well, Melly, why are you doing it again? I mean, Sabrina hit the nail on the head.
She did. She totally hit the nail on the head. And so did Dr. Hill 2014 by simply saying, Eli is the puppet master. He's running it. He's Geppetto. Welcome to Pinocchio.
He is. And also Liv gave Fitz some hope, and Dr. Hill said, really, girl, you're going to keep giving Fitz some hope? I mean, it's pretty crazy at this point, But one thing Dr. Hill and I always agree when it comes down to who? Gabby. And Dr. Hill said that she agrees with me that Gabby, Abby, and Olivia have a little bit more to this story. I mean, the onions are going to peel back. We're going to figure it out.
You are absolutely right. And we are going to figure out what's going to happen on this next episode of Scandal that comes on this Thursday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And we will meet you back here at 11:05 Eastern to discuss what happens. Thank you so much for watching us tonight. I have enjoyed this time. Thank you for bearing with us and me and these technical issues in my home. Janaya, any thoughts before we round out tonight?
Just such a fun night, LBJ. Such a great episode. Can't wait for Thursday. Everybody can't wait to see you on Thursday.
It's going to be great. I've got 30 minutes left in my birthday. I'm about to go celebrate them. See you later. Bye.
Bye.